I'm not saying that again.
Okay. Alright, my topic is synesthesia. Keep going. So, the word love has always tasted like a set of fresh ink and soft paper to me, like a newly written poem. And this is a quote by Megan Hart, and it may not make sense to most of you, but Megan Hart has this neurological condition called synesthesia, which is where she sees the world in a different way, and there's interaction between her senses. So it's not a very common condition, but I think it's really interesting to think about, and I think it's really important to understand that there are people out there who see the world from a different perspective than we do. So I was talking to this old man in a nursing home where I volunteer, and he was explaining to me that he can see the colors of the alphabet and he can hear certain phrases, and I thought he was crazy at the time. You know, he was just some man in a nursing home. But I did my research, and it turns out that's an actual condition, and I think it's really interesting, and I thought I would share it with you. So it's a rare condition, and I want to share a little bit about the types of it, the mechanisms behind it, and I want to talk about some notable people who have had it. So it's pretty rare. It's where there's an interaction between the senses that isn't there for most of the population, and it's where people take a different perspective on the world. So, for example, someone might associate certain letters of the alphabet with certain colors, or they may associate certain sounds with certain colors. Some of the common types, now that before I get into too much detail, I want to go over these types. There are quite a few different types, and it doesn't always fit into these clear-cut categories, but these are the most common types that they've come up with. So the first one is grapheme color synesthesia, and this is just where someone associates the letters with certain colors. So someone with synesthesia would always see the letter A as red and the letter B as blue. Not necessarily those colors, but you get the idea. The other form is sound to color synesthesia, and this is where certain sounds are associated with certain colors. So when someone plays the D note, someone might always see it as orange, someone with synesthesia. And there's another type, personification, and this one is a little different. It's where people associate phrases or colors or letters or inanimate things with certain emotions. So they may think, you know, like Tuesdays are rude, or the letter A is happy, and things like that. Alright, so now that you know some of the most common types, I want to go on and talk about some of the mechanisms and some of the most current research on it. It's not a super common condition, and there hasn't been a lot of research on it, but some of this is just speculation, but these are the theories that people have come up with about the mechanisms as to what might cause it. So the first one is by this guy named Grossenbacher, and he decided that synesthesia was a result of there being interaction, like too much interaction between brain regions, and it was a result of a lack of synaptic pruning. So normally when you're young, the synapses that you don't use are the ones that are less useful. They get pruned away, but the idea here is that these synapses remain, and so there's just too much communication going on between brain regions that control the sensory input. So another idea was proposed by this guy named Ramon Cadran, and this was the idea that there's normally this inhibition between the sensory regions of the brain. So normally these signals are prevented, but with people with synesthesia, there's something, maybe some sort of chemical that's preventing this inhibition, so that these barriers are broken down and too much signal is getting through. Well, now that you know some mechanisms, I want to go on and talk about some people. So it's kind of hard to diagnose for sure, but these are people that they think have had synesthesia, and a lot of you might know Duke Ellington. He was a composer and songwriter, and he's thought to have synesthesia because of this quote. And it goes, "I hear a note by one of the fellows in the band, and it's one color. I hear the same note played by someone else, and it's a different color. When I hear sustained musical tones, I see just about the same colors that you do, but I see them in textures." So here he's showing some evidence of the sound to color form of synesthesia. And next. Another notable person is Geoffrey Rush, who was this famous theater actor who won many awards, including Emmy, a Golden Globe, Famous Actor Award. And he was thought to have this personification form of synesthesia because he was often caught associating days of the week with emotions and even letters occasionally. Well, so now that I've talked to you a little bit about the types of synesthesia, what causes it, and some of the notable people, I think it's really interesting to understand that these people see things from a different perspective, and I think a lot of us may never really be able to understand this, and that's what makes it really interesting to think about. might, taste the Senate fresh or see the word love may be like the Senate fresh for Megan Hart. But, and I understand it's not that way for all of us, but we should keep in mind that people do see the world differently, and that some people may actually be tasting the letters of the alphabet. Thank you.